How are we feeling today, ladies and gentlemen? We have returned from the break to, in my own words, with yours truly, Stephen Smith. I know I mentioned prior to taking the second break that upon us coming back, I would have on Pat Jenkins from On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio out of Fayetteville, Arkansas, to discuss more of the Hogs, and we will do that. But I attended the Nick Saban game week presser on Wednesday night, and I try my best to make a lot of these for Touchdown Alabama magazine due to Nick Saban says things, does things that cause you to think. And before I dive into that, I will start off with sophomore safety Daniel Wright was not at practice today. He has missed this entire week of practice. He did not play in the game against Louisiana, in which the Crimson Tide won 56-14 on last week. And the reason for all of this is, according to Nick Saban, Wright has been suspended from the team due to a violation of team rules. I'm not sure which rule he broke. The information is currently not in front of me. It could have been a small, minute rule, could have been a major rule. But one thing we do know, coming from the mouth of the Crimson Tide head coach, Daniel Wright, suspended, will not make the journey, more than likely won't make the journey to DWR Razorback Stadium in Fayetteville to face the Razorbacks this weekend. When Wright has been at practice, he's usually in the second team dime package as the starting safety for the second team, with Eddie Smith, the freshman, shadowing him, but was not at practice today. Once we get more information on what transpired with Wright, we will pass that along to you. But right now, the former four-star from Florida suspended via violation of team rules. Now we get into Nick Saban making you think. He has seen this trend for quite a while now, but I believe the last two games is what's created the boiling point with him in terms of students not showing up consistently to the home games. And he spent quite a deal of time at this press conference talking about how in years past the stadium used to be packed out. Folks brought that spirit, they brought that joy, they brought that noise, that excitement that our players feed off of. And now you go to the game, you play the Our Tradition video, you get nothing. People leaving, people ain't showing up. Our players feel like they're not being supported. I got some audio here from the press conference, basically going into Nick Saban's whole spiel about the attendance in games. So check out the audio from the press conference. This is Nick Saban going from making a challenge to the media to critique the team more to now making this challenge towards students in attending more games. Give us a listen.
Well, I think it's great. I think that, I think what makes this a special experience here is when we have, great support from everybody in the program, everybody that supports the program, all of our fans, all of our students. I can honestly say I was a little disappointed that there weren't more students at the last game. And I think we're trying to address that. I don't think they're entitled to anything either. And me personally, I think it ought to be first come, first serve, and if they don't want to come to the games, they don't have to come, but I'm sure there's enough people around here that like to go to the games and would like for them to come too because they support the players. So I've never said anything about that before. When I first came here, we used to play that tradition thing up there, and everybody was cheering and excited and happy, and there was a great spirit. All right, now they don't even cheer. They introduce our players, nobody even cheers. So, I don't know, maybe there's something else somebody ought to talk about. Maybe I shouldn't talk about it. Maybe I already talked about more than I should. So, you all can beat me up for that if you want. But, look, our players work too hard, and they deserve to have everything and people supporting them in every way and have tremendous spirit for what they've done. And they may not be able to continue to do it. We're going to work hard to try to continue that. But, there's a part of it that other people need to support them too. And there's got to be a spirit that makes it special to play here, because that's what makes it special to be here. And if that's not here, then does it continue to be special to be here or not? I mean, that's a question everybody's got to ask, and I'm asking it right now. So I'm hopeful that we've always had great people travel on the road with us and had great spirit on the road. And we've got great fans, so I appreciate that. But, you know, to see half the student section not full, I've never seen that since I've been here before.
That was Alabama head coach Nick Saban addressing his concerns. For me, being a part of the media, I was once a student myself at the University of Alabama from 2011 to 2015. God willing, I'm looking to go back to try for a master's degree, but I see this from both angles. I see this from the angle of a diehard fan that's been a part of the Bama program, that's followed Bama since the Paul Bear Bryant years, and you're thinking, you know, these students, how dare them? They have an opportunity to attend greatness. They see this greatness in front of them. We have the greatest coach ever to walk the field in Nick Saban, after, of course, Bear Bryant. We have a game-changing quarterback in Tua Tagovailoa. We have an explosive offense that before you can sit down to watch, they've already put up 28 points on the board. We have a defense that smack you in the mouth. We have a coaching staff that's brought in all of its high energy. Like, we are just taking people's candy, taking people's money and running with it. We've won 5 of the last 9 national championships. We're getting top-ranked recruit after top-ranked recruit. You students, you have free tickets to go see this greatness. Why are you not enjoying it? There were moments where Bama couldn't win. There were moments where Bama had 3 and 8 seasons. We lost 7 straight to Auburn. We couldn't hang our head up high. We were made a complete joke. And now under Nick Saban, we are running the gamut. We have flipped the script on college football. Why can you not ride the wave and enjoy this greatness? I get it from the diehard fan stage, but I also get it from the student stage. Well, our tuition dollars pay for these players to have success. We've spent $300 to $500 on a parking pass per semester, and we're not guaranteed a space to park. Then we spend $400 to $500 on a little 3-digit math or computer science code not the size of my pinky finger, and where does that money go to? Possibly the athletic department. Then we spend all of this money in in-state, out-of-state tuition. Then, when we actually park our car in the right places and we get a citation from the Tuscaloosa Police Department, where does that money go to? So all the money we spend, all the money we throw on this program, all the stuff coming out of our pockets and the pockets of our parents also, if we are not on scholarship, that goes to where? A lot of that goes directly to the athletic department. So we feel like if we're paying all of this money to keep things afloat and rolling, we should at least be able to get some competitive football games. We should be able to go into a stadium where the game is not 55-0 by the time the end of the first quarter ends. I mean, I understand we don't want to have a competitive game every single week and have us on the edge of our seat, because that just creates cardiac arrest. But at the same time, we don't want to go to a snooze fest to where we walk into a game, we know Bama's going to win, we know we have the bigger, better talent, we know we're going to dominate, and it's boring me. And it's not compelling me to watch, and it's not directing my attention. Can we get a happy medium here? I understand it from both sides. And when I look at more so at the student side first here, one of the things that you are not going to change if you're a student is the schedule. If Alabama was Notre Dame, if Alabama was an independent, and it can pick its entire schedule, it can pick the schools it wants to play, I'm pretty sure Nick Saban would have Ohio State, Miami, Washington, West Virginia. He would pick all the toughest games we could play against if we were an independent. It'd have its good points to where we have high competition every week, high drama every week, higher ratings every week, but then there's some cons there, because the players will be going full throttle, full throttle, full throttle, full throttle, full throttle every single week, hit body blow, body blow, body blow, body blow, and they wouldn't have that game in the middle, or they wouldn't have those games in between where they can kind of rest a bit, tune up, relax, and have those teachable moment games. If you play every game a competitive game, and these guys are going high, full action because they don't know how to slow down due to, in practice, you're given high, full action because Nick Saban and the coaching staff demands high, full action. So if you get that in an actual game every single week and the players don't have any time to slow down, there could be more injuries occurring. So that's why the schedule is what it is. Also, when you look at the schedule, these games are put together 4 to 5 years out, 4 to 5 years in advance. Let me give you an example here. Let's say Alabama chose to play West Virginia. Let's say it's 2014, and Alabama is scheduling West Virginia for 2018, 4 to 5 years down the road. And 2014, this West Virginia team is looking pretty doggone good. I mean, you got a great quarterback over there, great run game, superior receivers, the coaching staff under Dana Holgorsen doing their thing. Defense is on top of the charts. This is a team that's getting 10, 11 win seasons, probably go undefeated one year. They win a couple of conference titles. They have some prime-time, big-name players that can go to the National Football League. West Virginia is thriving at this point. And while they're thriving at this point, the coaching staff is looking at this decision they made to schedule them. You as the fans look at this decision they made to schedule them, and everybody's thinking, oh man, this 2018 game against West Virginia is going to be dope. I got to get this ticket. I got to fly all my folks out here. This is going to be the game. And what you don't realize is you scheduled it 4 to 5 years off, so there could be a situation where mishaps occur. What if Dana Holgorsen is not retained as the coach? What if you have a couple of players get suspended or kicked off the team? These are marquee players. What if you get marquee players that get hurt? What if they have so many guys go to the National Football League and West Virginia is not able to reload as quickly as Alabama is? Now the game in 2018 that everybody thought was going to be so good when it's scheduled in 2014 is an average to below average game because mishaps have set in because you scheduled the game 4 to 5 years out. That's the thing with schedules. When you schedule a team initially, they can more than likely be a great football team, just like Florida State. You scheduled them 4 to 5 years out, Jimbo Fisher and them had a good football team, mishaps set in. Probably the one game that Alabama has scheduled since 2012 under Saban, non-conference to start the year, that was pretty compelling and competitive was 2014 against West Virginia in the Georgia Dome. Final score of that game was 33-23. Went wire to wire with Blake Sims as quarterback, stayed in the whole game. But if you look at the Michigan game from 2012, that was a blowout, 41-14. You look at the USC game from 2016, that was a blowout, 52-6. You look at this game to start the season against Louisville, that was a blowout. You even look at the Florida State game from 2017, 24-7, yeah, a little bit closer to what the score indicated, but you pretty much knew in that game the moment where Alabama took control. So a lot of times when you schedule these teams, it's 4 to 5 years out. And you think, we're going to get a good game, we're going to get high quality competition, and mishaps set in. So you can't really do that much about the schedule. However, what this does, and I want for you, the fans, to create a dialogue with me. So right now, go to Touchdown Alabama Magazine YouTube. Go there right now. Check out In My Own Words, the podcast. Hit the subscribe button, like the podcast, leave comments. I got to hear from you on this topic because people have been discussing this for a minute now. And it's you guys that drive the traffic. Go to the podcast. I want to create a dialogue with you on YouTube as well as Twitter. So, one of the things that Alabama could do in terms of really getting the most out of the students, because as much as the students enjoy going to the games, the coaching staff needs the students at the games because the players feed off the energy of the students. The players feed off y'all screaming, yelling, jumping up and down, acting crazy, just losing your mind. I mean, it's not good to see Damian Harris tote the rock, get in the end zone, score, and he looks up at the student section, and the same people he's taking classes with in passing aren't there. It's not good when Tua Tagovailoa is spinning the football back and forth, throwing touchdown pass after touchdown pass, and he looks up at the student section and it's half empty. It's not fun when Jerry Jeudy and Mac Wilson and all these big name players, every player in general, but since we identify more with the marquee guys, it's not good when highlight players make big plays and then look up and they try to see where the students are for that energy, and the students aren't there. So I think from the powers that be, because taking this from a biblical standpoint, Father's a pastor, so bear with me here. Taking this from a biblical standpoint, there's a God part and there's an our part, right? We expect God to do his part, and God's going to do his part. And at the same time, God expects us to do our part. So in the same way from the biblical reasoning here, in Alabama football, there's a player's part, there's a fan/student's part, but then there's also the part of Nick Saban, athletic director Greg Byrne, the University of Alabama Board of Trustees, and the powers that be to make up Alabama football. They have a part in this too. And their part in this is trying to create a way to where students to where you can keep the attention of students. Try to find a way to occupy the attention of students for long periods of time. Because the attention span for a lot of us is very short. And that's why guys are so glued, that's why students are so glued to their phones. That's why everybody is glued to their phones, their iPads, their iPods, their tablets, because there are little gizmos, gadgets, mechanisms on these things that keep our attention. It's the reason why people are so keen in on today's day and age of music. Now, am I a big fan of the music nowadays? Give or take, hit or miss, but for a lot of students, they can identify with what a lot of these new artists are saying because they say certain things that gravitate to their attention and it occupies their attention. For Nick Saban, and he might want to bring Miss Terry with him because when Miss Terry is on the saying, stuff get done. When Nick Saban blew up at Maria Taylor, it was Miss Terry Saban that got that man to apologize. When the tornado happened back in 2011, Miss Terry was on the scene. The Habitat for Humanity, the Knicks kids, Miss Terry Saban. So he probably needs to bring his wife with him because when she's there, stuff gets done. So if I'm Nick in this situation, I would have Miss Terry, I would have athletic director Greg Byrne. I would go talk to students, fraternities, sororities, different students around campus, and I would try to just ask them, look, what can we do as an organization to help you feel more, not just comfortable, but to help you feel like you're getting more out of this football game aside from, the scheduling aspect. Because I understand when the new renovations come in, it's going to be almost like a spaceship. I've heard where you could have TVs placed in the seats to where fans could watch stuff going on in other games while the game itself is playing, Alabama and whomever. I would like to see ceiling fans installed inside the stadium to where we have a lot of elderly people and they need to be cooled off. This has been the hottest summer ever recorded, so having those ceiling fans would be a nice touch. I would like to see some more food venues. I know Bojangles is sponsoring. I would like to see Moe's or Chick-fil-A or some more upscale variety as far as food is concerned. I would also think it'd be great to where for a lot of fans that may not have the funds to afford to come to a game, or the ones that do have the funds to come and they want to come, they're just afraid of heights and those nosebleeds, finding ways to accommodate those fans. So for Nick Saban and Greg Byrne, you got to be able to talk to the students and find a happy medium. Because, let's be honest, a lot of students are not going to go to an 11 a.m. game. It's too hot, it's too crowded, and you're going to beat the team you're playing against. Going back to the Texas A&M matchup, where a lot of people weren't there, and that was a top 25 game, and that was a conference game. That right there, you want to see more of your students there because it's a conference game, but going back to it's a student part, a player's part, and then the powers that be that make up Alabama football, they have a part in this too. And the players are doing their part. Players are out there giving their all every day on the field. The coaches are doing their part, coaching these guys up. But in terms of the coaches, the athletic directors, the students, and the fans, there needs to be a dialogue for what can we do? Because we want to help you as well as we need you to help us. And the best way for that to happen is what can we have? What can we install to make sure we're keeping up with your attention as well as us making sure you're going to come to these games, you're going to support this football team? Because I just remember when Nick Saban first got here and this thing first got started, it was standing room only, barely any standing room. Before the A-Day game got televised, folks packed that stadium out because they knew greatness was about to happen. Greatness was on the scene. We're going from being a laughing stock under DuBose, Franchione, Joe Kines, Shula, Mike Price, who never coached a game, to here we are with Nick Saban, and our team is gonna be otherworldly, just awesome. I remember those moments, and we're in those moments right now where Bama football is virtually unstoppable, and I get it from the diehard fan perspective. Be here. You're not always going to have this. The empire is going to soon die, and before it dies, you better ride this wave while you can. I see it from that angle, but I also see it from the student angle. Give us something to captivate our attention. Ask us what we want, because our tuition dollars supply of success, our enrollment, which has quadrupled in size since Saban has been here, has contributed to that success. Don't we get a say in this? Ask us how we feel. Ask us what we want so that we can tell you, so we can all find a way to create a happy medium in terms of Crimson Tide football. So, Tide fans, want to create a dialogue with you, hit the podcast up, get some questions going on Twitter and on YouTube. What can be done where Nick Saban, Greg Byrne, even Miss Terry Saban is concerned, to create a happy medium between students, fans, coaches, players, and Alabama football? We're taking our final break here on In My Own Words. When we get back, we will have my man Pat Jenkins on the Hills, Sports Talk Radio with Pat Jenkins out of Fayetteville, Arkansas. We'll be right back.